As children, many of us look to the skies with wonder, imagining what it'd be like to stand up there in the clouds and look down. Well, what if we told you that some people grew up and never stopped thinking of that? Today, we're gonna take you through our list of the tallest skyscrapers mankind has ever planned on building. So sit back, relax, and gaze up to the sky once again as we walk you through these monstrous construction projects. Welcome to Lux City. If you haven't already, subscribe to our channel and smash that notification bell button for more videos on the elevated life. I don't want to keep you waiting, so let's move on to the video. Number 5. Burj Khalifa. Standing at the height of 828 meters or just over 2,720 feet, the construction of the Burj Khalifa started in 2004 in the hopes of bringing more tourism to the nation, which it certainly did. The $1.5 billion skyscraper are mainly used as residential space that includes hotel rooms, but the building has so much more than that. It features one of the world's highest observation decks and also has the second largest choreographed fountain that the world has ever seen right outside of the entrance. The skyscraper was completed in 2009 and was opened to public in 2010, after 5 years of development. Even tall towers than what we have today will be challenging to construct, so the government regulates the height restrictions for buildings in most nations. In addition, there must be enough flat land and funding to build a new tower from the ground up as well. Number 4. The JEDDAH Tower. The tower may be very well the first skyscraper that is 1 kilometer in height. While this sounds like a lot, the tower would still be tiny compared to some of the skyscrapers that will come later on, so stay tuned. Unfortunately, there have already been a few big building concerns. The project was halted in 2017 after the Saudi Arabian authorities imprisoned some main investors in the skyscraper, notably Prince Al-Waleed bin Talal, in a massive corruption scandal. There were still challenges with building vertical transit to such a height after the investors were released a few months later. To add insult to injury, architects are still working on a design and gathering materials to keep the structure from swaying in the wind, and this incredibly tall tower is now challenging the Burj Khalifa directly. Number 4. Exceed 4000. The Exceed 4000 skyscraper was conceived in 1995 by a Thai state firm as an innovative approach to producing more housing in Japan. With a height of 4 kilometers or 2.5 miles, it would be taller than Mount Fuji. The goal was to develop a metropolis with retail malls and grocery stores inside a building so that people would never have to leave. The skyscraper would have enough space for up to 1 million people to live. The project was also intended to inspire others to build more unconventional skyscrapers that used clean energy. The Thai State Corporation planned to run the tower entirely on solar power, though they weren't sure how they'd get enough energy to accommodate the large business base required for such a structure. The building would have to be built on the Pacific Ring of Fire, according to the architect. The Exceed 4000, if built, would be the world's highest and most costly skyscraper, costing $900 billion to build. According to certain estimates, the cost of construction might even reach $1.7 trillion. In order to build 300 Eiffel Towers, the building would require 3 million tons of steel. It's unclear how long it'll take for the Exceed 4000 to become a reality because architects feel a project of this size is unlikely to be completed in the next future. Although there were speculations in 2007 that Thai business was working on Exceed 4000, it has been confirmed by the corporation that there are still some problems to work out before they can begin such a large undertaking. Number 3. Tokyo Tower of Babel. The Tokyo Tower of Babel, another city within a skyscraper, was conceptualized in 1999. At the Global Environment Conference in Brazil, it was first presented by the Toshiojima Laboratory from Waseda University. It would be even taller than Mount Everest and higher than the typical airplane flies at the height of 10 kilometers or 33,000 feet. Absolutely insane. That means the skyscraper would be the world's tallest thing, not just the tallest tower. Architects would need a base of roughly 4,100 square kilometers to construct such a lofty tower. That would be more than 2 times the size of Houston, Texas. Yeah, compare that. and the skyscraper would be large enough to accommodate 30 million people fully completed. The Japanese economy, however, had fully crumbled at the proposed time of construction. As a result, the structure never saw the light of day. However, despite the fact that the country has since recovered, it appears that the project will be too costly to ever become a reality. The building will cost around $306 trillion. Furthermore, the Tokyo Tower of Babel can take up to 150 years to build. Number 2. The launch loop. Our next concept demonstrates that the sky isn't the limit when it comes to future structures. Keith Lofstrom initially mentioned the launch loop in an American astronautical bulletin. The loop would be formed with a series of wires connected to the Earth back in 1981. It would use a magnetic levitation technique to transport objects into space, similar to how the Shanghai Trans Fast Train does now. It would have to be 2,000 kilometers or 1,240 meters long and reach a maximum height of 80 kilometers to reach the place above the atmosphere and back. That's 8 times taller than the height at which planes take off of. If the project is successful, it will be able to send vehicles into space without the use of a rocket, paving the way for space exploration, tourism, and space tourism. Anyone lucky enough to ride it will travel to speeds of up to 14 kilometers per second. Scientists still have a lot of work to do on some of the subjects. It would cost around $10 billion to operate for only a year. Furthermore, the technology for creating the launch loop is still being researched, and the magnetic levitation system required for the project would be extremely complex to construct and maintain. Not to mention that in order to begin construction, researchers would have to select a location for the launch loop that is not heavily populated. Number 1. Space elevator. Since 1895, the last concept has been in the works with Konstantin Tsiolkovsky, a Russian physicist, came up with the idea for the space elevator. It would be a tower with almost 35,800 columns and a height of nearly 35,800 feet. There was no material available at the time with adequate compressive energy to support such a project. Others interested in developing a space elevator have concentrated on tensile construction since the 20th century. Many companies have been vying to be the first to bring this project's concept to fruition. However, the principle for all of them is essentially the same. A cable that could extend above the Earth's atmosphere, a counterweight such as an asteroid, and a climber willing to take the voyage up the cable would make up the elevator. The specific type of material that would be strong enough to employ is still an issue, with some looking to diamond microthreads as a possible source. Others propose creating a carbon-based material that can bear the cable stress. Finalizing the project would be insanely difficult because scientists will have to consider a variety of conditions in space. Debris could harm the elevator, and finding enough material to build the elevator so high could be tough, not to mention the $10 billion price tag. With that being said, physicists from the Shizuoka University in Japan are already conducting experiments to see how the elevator could function on a smaller scale. Apparently, the Obayashi Corporation based in Tokyo believes they can have a space elevator finished by the year 2050. Some claim that they can do even better than the developers in China, challenging that they can have their elevator ready by 2045. And that concludes our video. Which part did you find the most interesting? Type it down in the comment section below, and if you like this video, don't forget to destroy that like button. For more videos on luxury, subscribe to our channel and hit that notification bell button. As always, thank you for watching and catch you in the next one.